coming up on Retirement Solutions Television.
Those are simply vehicles. Both get you from point A to point B, but what's even more important is what's the strategy. And when it comes to retirement planning, what you need to make sure is that your plan and your strategy helps you accomplish the things that you want to in retirement. If the market goes down, you will not lose any money out of that fixed indexed annuity. And that makes a big difference. It's part of that defensive strategy that you can put together in your plan, while at the same time having gains that are much higher than inflation. And he said, "What's going on? Why are you not out securing the rest of our farm?" And he said, "I can sleep when the wind blows." And he took him out and he showed him that he had already locked everything up. He had already put a tarp over the hay. He had already done everything because he was prepared.
And now your hosts of Retirement Solutions Television, the Retirement Brothers, Tyson and Ryan Thacker.
Welcome to Retirement Solutions Television. My name is Ryan Thacker. We have a great show that starts right here, right now.
Hi, and welcome to this week's AskBossRetirement.com, where you send in your questions to us and we answer them right here on the show. You ready, Ryan?
I am. Let's go, Mark.
All right, let's do it. My first one is from JR in Park City, and he writes, "Ryan, what is the right amount of cash that I should have in an emergency fund during retirement?"
Great question, JR. And this is a question that not many people think about. They think about their investments. They think about where my mutual funds are. But this emergency fund is like the foundation piece for every plan. In fact, it's the first bucket in the Boss Retirement Blueprint. And here's what we recommend. We recommend that you have at least 6 months worth of living expenses. So, JR, I have no idea what your monthly living lifestyle costs you, but let's just say that it's $5,000 a month for this discussion. If we were to have $5,000 a month times 6, that would be a minimum requirement of $30,000 in your emergency fund. Now, some people say, that seems like a lot of money, Ryan. Why should we have that much money in there? Well, JR, the reality is life happens. And just like going through any period in life, you may have a car break down, you may need to replace a roof, you may have a medical situation. In fact, JR, if you're over age 65, we recommend that you have even more than 6 months, because it's just common that you'll run into a scenario where life happens. It may be helping a grandchild, maybe an unexpected surgery. Just having that emergency fund, let me tell you what it does, Mark, gives you that peace of mind. And peace of mind, when you can have peace of mind in retirement, come what may, the storms come in, they beat on us, it's okay, you've got a little bit saved for a rainy day, and you can have confidence. Great question, JR. Thank you.
So where do I keep that money? Because obviously bank interest rates are very low right now. Do we just have to kind of suck it up and say, hey, okay, it's low, but this is my emergency money. I need direct access to it. I can't worry about penalties. Is that where I put it?
We do. We recommend that it's in some type of short-term fund that's easily accessible. And also, here's the other mistake that a lot of families make. They say, I'm getting a low return in the bank. I'm not even getting 1%. So maybe I should invest it in the market. Well, if the market goes down and there's a significant loss, there goes the emergency fund. So specifically with this money, what we recommend is that it's either in a bank or a credit union. Could be in a CD. You know, even if you have a CD in there that has some penalties, you might lose a little bit of interest, but at least you're going to get some additional interest. We're not trying to swing for the fence here, Mark. We're just trying to have money that's easy, it's liquid, and you can use it in case of an emergency. That's why you have an emergency fund.
So should I base it on 1 year of my expenses? Should I just take a sort of X amount of dollars? What is like a rule of thumb here?
Yeah, so here's what we find. Everyone has their own number. We recommend a minimum of 6 months worth of living expenses. That's kind of the minimum. But we find that some families are different. Some families, you know, they may need $200,000, and that seems like a lot of money. It just depends on your individual situation. Find your number. Here's what you do, is you look back and look at different time periods in your life and you say, what makes me sleep at night? For some people, that's less than $30,000. It's not what we recommend. It's, but it's, if you have a number in mind, pick that number, and that's the starting point. If it's 100,000, if it's 50,000, doesn't really matter. The number, what is most important, is what makes you comfortable and what makes you sleep at night.
How about cash in the coffee can up in the cupboard? My grandmother used to do that.
Bury it in the backyard.
Bury it
right?
in the backyard.
In fact, when our grandpa died, they found $20 bills rolled up in old socks.
How
And
funny.
it was just, it ended up being like thousands of dollars rolled up there, and that was a depression mindset, right?
Sure.
It was,
Sure.
hey, we needed to have some money close on hand. We get questions all the time. Should we have money in a safe? Should we have it out in the backyard? Should I have gold and silver? Should I buy bullets? I mean, there's all kinds of different questions. That's an individual scenario of what you want to have. It goes back to the basic. You need to have an emergency fund. And if you feel like you want to have some money in a safe at home or in some precious metals, that's up to you. But start with that minimum of having the emergency fund of at least 6 months worth of living expenses.
Great. My next question is from Lonnie in Logan, and she writes, Ryan, I want to retire at age 62, but I'm not sure if that's the best time to take my Social Security. How do I find out if that will be the best scenario for me?
Great question, Lonnie, and we appreciate you calling in from Logan today and sending this in, because here's what you look at, Lonnie, is you look at, it doesn't matter what age you are when you retire. What matters most is, do I have enough reliable income to get me through retirement? Leonardo da Vinci says simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. If we're to apply that to your retirement money, Lonnie, it would be this. Do you have enough money coming in from reliable sources? That would be Social Security, maybe a pension, maybe some other type of income like a income property coming from real estate. If you have enough reliable income, you can retire. Okay, that's the first step that you want to take when you look at. Second, Lonnie, is we want to look at all these other accounts and test, if I live on this current lifestyle amount, if it's $5,000, use that number a lot, because that's a common number that we see with many of the families that we talk to, then what is the drain if we keep taking those withdrawals from all of your retirement accounts? Will that get you through retirement? For many of our clients, it's more than enough, but we want to be able to clarify that for you, Lonnie, and know, are you going to be okay? And if we can test that for you, come into the office and we'll help you understand what that looks like in your own individual situation. We'll create a customized Boss Retirement Blueprint just for you, and we'll be able to help you understand where you're at and help you get to where you want to go.
Ryan, thanks so much. Hey, if you'd like to have your question answered right here on the show, super easy. Just go to AskBossRetirement.com and send us those questions. Hey, stick around. We got a lot of great stuff to come. You're watching Retirement Solutions Television, Utah's Retirement TV.
Life, a series of moments. A touch, a look, a laugh. Successful people. It might not be superior imagination. It just might be superior retirement planning. Imagine what's next. Plan today, own tomorrow.
Call Boss Retirement Solutions, 801-610-1234.
Having no clear retirement plan is a mistake I see a lot in my financial planning office when I meet with someone new. It is extremely rare that someone comes in and has a clearly defined income plan for his or her retirement. One way you will be able to get a clearly defined retirement income plan is to talk to an independent financial advisor who specializes in retirement planning. Not someone who is specialized in getting you to retirement, but someone who is dedicated to getting you through retirement. If you don't have a clear retirement plan, then be one of the first 5 callers and you will receive a free complimentary planning review. There is no obligation and no cost if you have at least $200,000 saved for retirement. Here's what you will receive: a free report to sort through your current advisor costs, a tailored plan to guard your investments, tax analysis to reduce liability and increase cash flow, and a custom income plan to boost retirement. Plus, you'll receive a budget assessment to help manage your cash flow. So call now for your free, no obligation financial review.
You're watching Retirement Solutions Television, Utah's Retirement TV. So Ryan, what's this week's tip from the boss?
This week's tip from the boss is retirement planning is not about a product, it's about a plan. Now, this is very, very different from what most of you are thinking out there. In fact, when many people come into our office, the number one question that we get, Mark, is what product should I invest in? Folks, that's the wrong question. Now, when you come into our office, there's never a bad question, but there's some questions that are better than others. And we like to say the quality of the questions that you ask will determine the quality of life that you have. And as we look at a total retirement picture, it's not about an annuity, it's not about stocks, it's not about bonds, it's not about real estate or even gold and silver that many folks like to talk about the particular vehicles. Think about the name vehicle. What does the name vehicle mean? Well, it's simply an object that can get you from point A to point B. Sometimes in your life, if you're like Tyson's family, he has a lot of kids, he may need a minivan. If you're retired and looking for a new sports car to be able to go around the track, you may want a Ferrari. Those are simply vehicles. Both get you from point A to point B, but what's even more important is what's the strategy. And when it comes to retirement planning, what you need to make sure is that your plan and your strategy helps you accomplish the things that you want to in retirement. At Boss Retirement Solutions, we have the blueprint that's going to help you be able to match that plan with a strategy, and then we can bring everything together to help you get to and through retirement. And that is this week's tip from the boss.
You're watching Retirement Solutions Television, Utah's Retirement TV.
You made it. Years of hard work, investing, planning, and now you're here. The long-awaited reward you spent a lifetime looking forward to. But what now? After years of growing a nest egg, now you may want to manage it. Use it to fund your dreams. Make it last as long as you need it. And leave some for those you love. So what do? Wall Street continues to be uncertain, and some conservative options have dropped through the floor. How do you maintain opportunities for growth and reduce risk of loss from market changes? That's where we come in. We are financial professionals. From investments and insurance products to tax reduction strategies and guaranteed retirement income you cannot outlive, provided by the claims-paying ability of insurance companies. You've worked a lifetime to get here. Let us help you enjoy it to the fullest. For a complimentary consultation, simply contact us today.
Having no clear retirement plan is a mistake I see a lot in my financial planning office when I meet someone for the first time. It is extremely rare that someone comes in and has a clearly defined income plan for his or her retirement. One way you'll be able to get a clearly defined retirement income plan is to talk to an independent financial advisor who specializes in retirement planning. Not someone who specializes in getting you to retirement, but someone who is dedicated getting you through retirement. If you don't have a clear retirement plan, then be one of the first 5 callers and you'll receive a free complimentary planning review. There's no obligation and no cost if you have at least $200,000 saved for retirement. Here's what you'll receive: a free report to sort through your current advisor costs, a tailored plan to guard your investments, tax analysis to reduce your tax liability and increase your cash flow, and a customized income plan to boost your retirement. Plus, you'll receive a budget assessment to help you manage your cash flow. So call now for your free, no obligation financial review.
You're watching Retirement Solutions Television, Utah's Retirement TV. Hi, and welcome to this week's Retirement True or False. Have some great questions this week for Ryan and Tyson. And my first one's going to be for you, Ryan, and that is, fixed indexed annuities are an insurance product and they are not tied to the stock market. True or false?
That is true. And many people feel like a fixed indexed annuity is actually tied directly to the stock market. That's not correct. What you need to understand is there's all different types of indexes that you can use with the fixed indexed annuities today. You can use an S&P 500, you can use a Volatility Control Index, you can use all these different indexes that are continuing to improve the performance on a fixed indexed annuity, but it's not linked to the stock market. What does that mean? Very simple. If the market goes down, you will not lose any money out of that fixed indexed annuity, and that makes a big difference. It's part of that defensive strategy that you can put together in your plan, while at the same time having gains that are much higher than inflation.
You know where maybe a little of the confusion is? I I mirror the market to some degree when it goes up, but I don't get all the gains. Could you explain that a little further, Tyson?
Yeah, these annuity companies, actually, you follow the index. So let's say it's the S&P 500 as an example. You would follow the index, whether it's going up or down, but if it goes all the way down to negative, you can only get hit at 0. And if it's going up, in most cases, with the best annuities, you can actually have no caps. So in other words, market goes up, you lock in those gains, market goes down, you stay there, market goes up again, you lock in the gains again. And so it creates a strategy that helps people to grow without having that downside risk.
Tyson, my next question is for you. Most retirees and pre-retirees have planned for their potential health-related expenses in retirement. True or false?
I'd say mostly false. Most people know that they need to have insurance. Most people know that they need to plan for that, but they kind of want to close their eyes and not really peek. They want to just hope that everything works out okay and cross their fingers. That's one of the pieces that we really help focus on from an inflation strategy, as well as talking through Medicare and making sure whatever they have as it relates to healthcare, that they understand that it's going to be increasing. For instance, we just saw somebody the other day, healthcare costs went up by 18% year over year. And so it needs to be planned for to ensure that they don't run out of money.
Well, I think here's the other part of that conversation is understanding there are other options besides just long-term care. I mean, in today's market, we have life insurance that can have an accelerated death benefit that can be used towards long-term care. We have healthcare enhancements that go along with annuities that are out there. It's not just a one-size-fits-all anymore. There's a customized approach that can be looked at and determined what's going to be the best strategy for you. It could be long-term care. It could be using a combination of some of these very strong components.
Well, while we're talking about long-term care for a moment, I always like to point out that, you know, the statistics say 1 out of 2 will require at some point some sort of long-term care. So it's nice to know that there are other options besides your traditional long-term care insurance.
Yeah, we talk through all of that every time we talk with a client, because that long-term care is in a lot of flux. That whole marketplace is in a lot of flux. And so some of these annuities, some of the life insurance that can have these riders attached to them and still give them that peace of mind makes a big difference.
That is certainly an area that people need to find out more about. And Tyson, my last question is for your brother Ryan, and that is, banks are the best place to keep your money safe. True or false?
That is false. It's going to provide a safe place, but it's not going to provide the return that you need. We have 3 different paths that you can go on in retirement. One's the freeway, that's like the stock market. The other one is the scenic path, which gives you a mix. And then the third path is the bank path. That is low returns, and the big problem there is inflation. Old man inflation's not going away. I mean, I remember my first college apartment, and it was $425 a month. When we have our public workshops, I ask that question, and I hear some $50, $100 a month. And think about that. For me, in my individual situation, that same college apartment, just looked at it a couple weeks ago, that's now $850 a month. So it's doubled.
You're getting older,
in the 20 years. I am getting old, right? That's where my hair went. But it's like, I mean, you need to have a strategy for that. And you know, the bank is, while it's going to have some protection, it's not going to give you that return, and so we don't recommend that being the place for a lot of money.
Well, let me ask you this. Is there a role today in someone's retirement with some money at the bank?
There absolutely is. I mean, you've got to have some emergency money set aside that you can grab really quickly and have access to that. We call it the money bag syndrome. Our dad would bring home from the barbershop every day a money bag with all the money that he had earned that day. And Ryan and I loved to be able to, we asked Dad, will you give us a money bag? And he finally did.
Tyson used to take 20s and cash it in for 1, so the money bag was thicker.
I like it.
It looked good. I had to have it the same size as my dad's, but everybody needs to have some of their money in that equivalent of the money bag.
Guys, thanks so much. Don't go anywhere. We got a lot of great stuff to come. You're watching Retirement Solutions Television, Utah's Retirement TV.
It's your retirement. How will you live it? How will you be remembered?
Will you be able to take me on vacation?
Will you be there for my ball games?
Will you teach me your values? You'll be able to play with me.
Oh, help me go to college. How will I remember you?
Have the retirement you dream about. Ask BossRetirement.com.
From my experience, many retirees keep too much of their assets in the stock market after they retire. A well-diversified retirement portfolio should have assets in each of 3 different stages. The youth stage, putting money in savings. The adult stage, putting a portion into investments. And when you reach the mature stage, you should transition from growing and risking and protecting and guaranteeing yourself for income. If you aren't sure about your risk, call or go to askbossretirement.com to get a custom designed, easy to understand financial review. There's no obligation and no cost if you have at least $200,000 saved for retirement. Here's what you'll get: a free report to sort through your current advisor costs, a tailored strategy to help guard against your assets, a tax analysis to potentially reduce your tax liability and increase your cash flow, as well as a custom income plan, plus a budget analysis. Call now or go to askbossretirement.com.
You're watching Retirement Solutions Television, Utah's Retirement TV.
Welcome back. Today we're talking about the Boss Retirement Blueprint. Tyson, we're going to talk a little bit about the growth bucket on the blueprint. And sometimes people ask us what the growth bucket is. And what I like to do is I like to use an example of a financial house. If we were to build a house, we're going to start with a foundation. That's going to be income when it comes to your retirement plan. Then we're going to put some walls up, and the walls are going to be inflation. Like we've talked about, you need inflation. And then the roof of the house is growth. And Tyson, talk to us about when families come in, where do you find most of the money when we look at the average family when they come into our office for the first time?
You know, Ryan, it's interesting because I'd say even if somebody is 65, even 70, when they are looking at their portfolio, all they've been taught is to put all of their money into the market. Whether it's old 401ks and IRAs or whether they have an advisor that's been talking to them. And so really what they're doing is they're taking that financial house that you just mentioned and turning it on its head. And how unstable is that house if that growth, the pitch of the roof, is teetering back and forth, right?
Or the way I like to look at it is draw the roof with no walls and no foundation, right? And you open up that little peephole in the roof and you look under.
There's no stability.
There's no stability.
Yeah.
So how do we create a strategy to help them with that?
You know, with the Boss Retirement Blueprint, we focus on that cash, that income, that inflation first, because it really does have to be that foundation in the walls.
So there's a proper order.
There's a proper order in how we set aside different pieces of their plan. And it doesn't mean that we shouldn't have some growth money. We need money that's going to outpace inflation. We need to still have the opportunity to grow this money. But it's after those things are taken care of. And too often people don't look at it that way. They only want to really get a 12, 14, 15% return.
Well, and here's how to build the house right. Start with the very foundation, which is income. That's your Social Security, that's your pension, and then determining if we need additional income sources to bring that in. The next foundation piece, these are like the core foundation blocks, is to make sure that you've got a strategy, if you're short on income, to build a proper income plan to make sure that that foundation is solid. Then we have the inflation side that goes along with that. And on inflation, if you put the walls up correctly and square, then you're going to have peace of mind. When old man inflation comes knocking, your walls are built on steady 2x6s instead of 2x4s, and you've got a lot of very strong foundation that you've put those on top of. And now we can go to growth. Now we can open up the playbook. And what so many people make the mistake on is they build the house starting with the roof. No one's going to do that, but that's what families
There's no
have
plan
been.
in place. There's no real blueprint. They've just decided that they're going to put that up there and really hope for the best.
That's right. That's what they've been taught for the last 20, 25, 30 years.
And you think about,
and it's different when you get to retirement.
Absolutely. There's a lot of windstorms that have happened in Farmington over the years. There's a lot of windstorms that have happened in Highland over the years.
Reminds me of that I can sleep when the wind blows story.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Where
a lot of people know that story.
The wise man went out there and he built put the latches on the shutters.
Well, there was the farmer
tied everything down
that hired the farmhand, and he didn't. All he said when he hired him was, hey, can you do the job? And he said, I could sleep when the wind blows. And he
Whatever
didn't-
that means.
Yeah, he didn't understand what that meant. But then a big storm came, and the farmer was worried. And he went out, and he was really mad because his farmhand was asleep.
Not
And
out there gathering everything
Yeah,
in.
and so we
he's
woke
just
him up.
snoozing.
And he said, what's going on? Why are you not out securing the rest of our farm? And he said, I can sleep when the wind blows. And he took him out, and he showed him that he had already locked everything up. He had already put a tarp over the hay. He had already done everything because he was prepared.
His house was in order.
His house was in order. If you want to make sure your house is in order and that your blueprint is set up in the proper structure, give us a call. We'd be glad to help.
You're watching Retirement Solutions Television, Utah's Retirement TV.
You're on the back nine heading for the clubhouse. Your dreams of spending time with family and enjoying retirement are just within reach. What happens if you end up in the rough? In these uncertain times, it's crucial to be prepared with sound advice. Boss Retirement Solutions is one of Utah's premier retirement planning specialists. For a complimentary consultation, call 801-610-1234. Boss Retirement Solutions. Plan to retire well.
From my experience, many retirees keep too much of their assets in the stock market after they retire. A well-diversified retirement portfolio should have assets in each of the 3 different stages. The youth stage, putting money into savings. The adult stage, putting a portion into investments. And when you reach the mature stage, you should transition from growing and risking to protecting and guaranteeing yourself income. If you aren't sure about your risk, call now or go to AskBossRetirement.com to get a free Boss Retirement Blueprint. This is an easy to understand financial review. There's no obligation and no cost if you have saved at least $200,000 for retirement. And here's what you'll get: a free report to sort through your current advisor costs, a tailored strategy to help guard your assets, a tax analysis to potentially reduce your tax liability and increase your cash flow, and an income plan plus a budget analysis. Call now or go to AskBossRetirement.com.
You're watching Retirement Solutions Television, Utah's Retirement TV.
Thanks for watching. If you've got questions, please feel free to go to our website or call our office. And remember, a successful retirement does not happen by accident. We'll see you next week.